Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today we have for you a reading comprehension test. We have an article followed by a few questions. We're going to read the whole article, go back and reread it sentence by sentence, and explain it in both English and Chinese. So what are we talking about today? We're going to answer the question without a spoiler alert. What will post-pandemic travel look like?
我们的中文标题是中文标题就不是个问题，中文标题是解封疫情后的报复性旅游潮但在英文是个问题，就是这个 post 在什么之后，所以在这一次疫情之后的 travel 会是什么样子呢？
Okay, please listen now as I read through the full article. The travel industry has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Back in the spring, air traffic ground to a halt, and hotels saw a cancellation of all upcoming reservations. With international borders closed, some popular destinations had almost no foreign tourists. Now, the industry is hoping for a bit of revenge traveling. That is, people will take more vacations or spend more on them once they are free to travel again. Similarly, retailers are wondering whether revenge spending, consumers splurging in reaction to easing restrictions, will help them as well. Of course, travel is expected to look a little different once restrictions ease and places open up. Domestic travel is likely to pick up quicker as it won't be hampered by the same problems as international travel. Those hoping to book international trips will need to check if they are allowed into the country they wish to visit. They may also need to present proof of a negative COVID-19 test or of a vaccination once one is available. Travelers will also probably be worried about last-minute policy changes and may book flights or hotel stays that can be canceled or rescheduled. Whether or not the tourism industry sees a travel boom depends also on how secure people feel about traveling. Industry experts expect that people will choose to avoid cities in favor of more rural options, such as camping or staying at country retreats. They also think people will avoid traveling in groups where possible. While travel will undoubtedly pick back up, it is anyone's guess whether it will restart slowly or rapidly rebound.
Yes. So the travel industry, I'm just not going to speculate. I'm not. So the travel industry has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. That is an understatement. I mean, it's been basically rendered non-existent in places.
Yeah. Rendered, R-E-N-D-E-R, rendered 就是造成什么样的状况所以这个 travel industry 几乎已经是不见了，因为这个疫情的关系non-existent。好，那我们看到这个句子，他说 The travel industry 就是旅游业 has been hit hard 就是受到了重创的意思这个 hard 就是这个造成很大的损伤那被什么东西因为什么而受到重创呢？因为这个 COVID-19 的这个大流行。
Back in the spring, air traffic ground to a halt.And hotels saw a cancellation of all upcoming reservations. Back in the spring, this would be, say, February, March, April, even May of this year, air traffic, traveling by airplane, ground to a halt. This is a great expression when something slowly but eventually completely stops, something that had been moving or going ahead slowly but surely can no longer move forward, it stops, and cancellation of all upcoming reservations. People who couldn't travel called their travel agents, who then called their hotels to say, first of all, there are no airplanes flying, so we're not going to your location. We have to cancel our reservations.
Okay, back in the spring 就是这今年的春天那 back 就我们回到今年春天去看一下 air traffic 就是空中交通 ground to a halt 这是很好的一个 expression 大家可以学起来它的意思就是它不是突然之间戛然而止它是慢慢的就停下来的grind是 ground 的原形动词它本来就是磨的意思所以各位可以感觉到就是它本来东西在跑在转的轮子在转的但最后慢慢的磨好像没有油呢没有润滑油慢慢卡住了终于就停下来了所以空中交通慢慢的就让停摆了然后呢 hotels 旅馆 saw 就是 experienced 旅馆经历了一个 a cancellation 就是取消订房 of all 所有的东西都取消什么东西呢 upcoming 就是即将到来的 forthcoming 的意思forthcoming 所以本来已经即将要到来的一些订房reservations 后来呢都取消掉了所以这个很惨
With international borders closed, I mean, no one is able to cross them. So some popular destinations whose economies depend almost entirely on international travelers, they had almost no foreign tourists. So these places were just a bit harder hit, which is to say they were absolutely devastated by the fact that no one was traveling.
好 devastate 就是摧毁的意思它的拼法是 D-E-V-A-S-T-A-T-E devastate 就是摧毁的意思
One such country, they're completely dependent on their citizens living overseas sending remittances back to their families because there's no money coming in otherwise.
Yeah, 好，所以像这个有的国家呢，它可能经济要靠很多在国外工作的国民把钱寄回来但是后来都出现了很大的问题所以我们可以看到说，这个里呢，他讲到说with 就是在这样的状况之下，什么状况呢 ？International borders 国与国之间的国界 closed 关闭，也就是大家的国境都关闭了。那这样情况之下呢？一些 popular 热门的 destinations 旅游的目的地也就是一些景点呢 had almost 几乎是 no foreign tourists 几乎都没有外国的游客了
Now the industry is hoping for a bit of revenge traveling. I laughed when I first saw this phrase, but it really makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Revenge is you do something bad to me, I'm going to do something bad to you. The pandemic has killed our industry, but when it's over, or if it gets much less, people love to travel. And if they're able to, boy, oh boy, they'll come back. They will spend more money. They may travel more.
The revenge is on the traveler's part, it's not on the travel industry's part.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, I've been shut up for this long and I am going to get out. It's kind of like, I'm going to get mine.
Yeah, 所以这个 revenge traveling 就是我们讲报复性旅游这个报复是
even better in Chinese.
Yeah, 是这个因为大家都不能出去玩，所以就觉得说有一股气闷在那边那后来可以出去玩了，我就有那种报复性的旅游。好，你之前不能出去玩，我现在就可以好好的玩，狠狠的玩叫做 revenge traveling。所以他说现在 the industry 就是 the travel industry 旅游业呢 is hoping for 他们盼望a bit of 希望有一点点所谓的报复性旅游出现。
That is, so we're now defining, the article is defining what revenge traveling is. And revenge traveling is people will take more vacations or spend more on them. They'll not just have a vacation, they'll have a better one than they usually have once they are free to travel again. And boy, I can feel this.
Yeah, 好，所以 that is 也就是说的意思 that is 因为他要解释前面说什么叫做 revenge traveling。那所谓的报复性旅游呢，也就是说人们会 take more vacations 他们会度更多的假然后呢或者是 spend more on them 就是指 vacations 或者是出去度假的时候呢会花更多的钱或者在度假上面花更多的钱叫做 spend more on them once they are free to travel again 他们一旦可以自由的去旅游的时候呢他们就会度更多的假而且呢会在度假上面花更多的钱这个叫做报复性旅游
Similarly, retailers are wondering whether revenge spending Consumers splurging in reaction to easing restrictions will help them as well. Retailers are simply store owners. It's the industry, the retail industry, selling in shops or online. They're wondering, will we have a period where people can't travel, so maybe they'll spend more money in stores to make themselves feel better, and they're calling this revenge spending, and that would be of great help to the retail industry, which in some cases has also had to close their doors. When the doors open, hopefully there will be revenge spending.
Yeah, 所以 similarly 类似的呢情况啊，零售商 retailers 他们 are wondering 啊，他们想要知道 whether 会不会有出现所谓的 revenge spending， 就是报复性的消费啊。那后面一个这个 dash 就是解释一下什么叫报复性消费呢？就是 consumers 消费者 splurging 啊 ，splurging 就是大量的花钱挥霍的意思。这个字啊有一种说法，它是从 splash 加上 surge 这两个字出来的啊 ，splash S-P-L-A-S-H 就是洒水，用力的洒水。那 surge 就是 rise rapidly 啊 ，S-U-R-G-E 啊，就突然之间增加啊，这个骤然升高，所以 splurging 就是大花钱挥霍啊。那 in reaction to 就是 in response to 就作为什么的反应呢？作为反应 easing restrictions， easing 就是慢慢放松当中的这些限制啊 ，ease 当动词的话就是 slacken 或者 loosen 的意思啊 ，slacken 就是 S-L-A-C-K-E-N 啊 ，loosen 是 L-O-O-S-E-N 啊，所以放松的限制呢啊，那消费者怎么样反应呢？反应的方法就是 splurging， 好大量的花钱。那零售商也希望这样子的事情能够帮助他们 ，them 就是指这个 retailers。Of
course, travel is expected to look a little different once restrictions ease and places open up. So when something eases, it means it gets less severe or less strict. So the restrictions, the limits will ease up. We'll have much broader freedom of movement and places open up. So, yeah, I don't think travel will be like it was.
好，一定会不一样的。那他说，当然 travel is expected to 就是预期会怎么样呢 ？Look a little different， 会看起来会有一点不太一样。Once 一旦 restrictions 这些限制 ease 放松，然后呢 places open up 就是各个地方 open up 就是开放，所以这个旅游景点一开放啊，这个旅游限制放松之后呢，其实我们看到的旅游会有一点不一样。
Domestic travel is likely to pick up quicker as it won't be hampered by the same problems as international travel. So, in Taiwan, we can go from the north to the south, the east to the west. We don't have to worry about restrictions. We won't be hampered. We won't be slowed down or not allowed to do something, at least not as much as international travel. Many countries have closed their borders. Angela mentioned this a little bit before, so you can't even go in, even if you have the money to do so.
好，所以 domestic travel 就是这个国内的旅游啊 ，is likely to 比较可能，或者是有可能 is likely to pick up 就是回升 improve or increase 啊，所以国内旅游有可能会比较回升 ，quicker 会回升的比较快。As 在这里是 because 的意思，因为 it 就是指国内旅游 won't be 不会被 hampered 不会被阻碍，不会被妨碍到 by 不会被什么妨碍到呢？不会被 the same problems 同样的这些问题。什么样的问题呢 ？As international travel， 所以国内旅游跟国外旅游比起来，就国外旅游它会受到一些限制啊，它会被 hampered， 但是国内旅游大概没有类似的问题，所以他们应该会复苏的比较快。
Those hoping to book international trips will need to check if they are allowed into the country they wish to visit. There are various different countries have various different blacklists for people, which countries they will not allow visitors from. Actually, I found out recently the United States has blacklists within the states. Ooh. My niece wants to go from Wisconsin to New York, and I remember New York was very hard hit. Mm-hmm. So I was like, is it going to be okay? She's like, well, actually, Wisconsin is the one that has the less a competent response to it. So I'm going to have to quarantine when I go from Wisconsin to New York.
Wow.
And I'm like, did not know that.
所以连美国国内其实都有所谓的旅游限制哈。你从例如说刚刚 Angela 讲他的 niece 从这个威斯康星州要到纽约，结果发现到纽约还要被隔离呀。好，所以我们可以看到说这里他讲到说这个those 就是 those people hoping to 想要 book 想要预定 international trips 就是国际旅游的人呢 will need to 或者国际旅行的人呢 will need to 必须要 check 要查一下弄清楚 if they are allowed 他们是否被允许 into 就是被允许能不能进入 the country they wish to visit 他们想要去的那个国家他要查一查能不能进去。
They may also need to present proof of a negative COVID-19 test or of a vaccination once one is available. To get into some countries which have opened their borders, but you have to prove through a special kind of test for the COVID-19 virus, but this is not ready yet, having a vaccination once one is available. If they are able to develop one and people can get a vaccination against COVID-19, then there's no reason another country wouldn't allow you to travel into it.
好 they may also 他们也可能 need to 需要 present 就是出示或者提交 proof 证据不可数 proof of 它要什么的证据呢？一个 negative 就是阴性的这个 COVID-19 test 就是这个病毒检验阴性的证明他们要提交，或者是 proof of a vaccination 就是接种疫苗的证明once 就是一旦One is available. 这个 one 就是指这个 vaccination， 因为现在疫苗还没有发展出来嘛。那一旦有疫苗的话，他们要进入某个国家之前，可能要证明一下我有接种这个疫苗。
Travelers will also probably be worried about last-minute policy changes and may book flights or hotel stays that can be canceled or rescheduled because the situation on the ground is constantly changing with this disease. And so even if you've got your stay booked, you're going to have to be like, okay, is it still safe to go? Is it still allowed to go? Am I going to have visa problems, etc.? So no one is going to buy
non-refundable
tickets or stays.
Yeah, 就是无法退费的non-refundable。好，那这个地方讲到说，这个旅行者呢，也可能会 be worried about， 就是担心他们可能会担心 last minute， 就是最后一刻，也就是临时的意思。最后一刻临时的一些 policy changes， 就是这个政策的改变或者规定的改变那可能本来说可以去，那最后要出发了才跟你讲不可以去或者上了飞机他来跟你说对不起不能去了，所以他们可能会 may book 会订一些 flights。班机或者是 hotel stays 就是饭店的住宿stay 就是短暂的住宿，那这些东西是他们会订一些可以怎么样 that can be cancelled 可以被取消或者是 rescheduled 可以延期改期的这样的一些班机或者是旅馆住宿，所以这个是他们可能会做的不一样的事情。
Okay, now let's look at our final paragraph. Whether or not the tourism industry sees a travel boom depends also on how secure people feel about traveling. So are we going to have a period of revenge traveling? Will the tourism industry be able to come back as it was before? Well, yes or no? The answer depends also not on just what we talked about in the last paragraph, but also on how secure people feel about traveling. If they don't feel safe,And we're not here talking about the airplane is a dangerous type of transportation. It doesn't mean that. It means when I get to this country, will I feel safe there?
Yeah, 好，所以呢，这个 secure 这个字呢，其实它跟 safe 的差别是 secure 它是 feeling free from fear or anxiety 你觉得不用担心有那安全感，所以差别在这里。那 safe 只是说它比较强调人身的安全所以呢他说 whether or not 不管这个旅游业the tourism industry 它 sees 它能不能看到一个 travel boom 就是一个旅游的热潮 boom 就是突然之间大量的成长 所以我们不管他能不能看到，就是旅游业能不能看到一个旅游的热潮呢 ？Depends also on 也要依什么而定呢？也要依视什么而定呢？要视 how secure people feel about traveling， 就人们对于旅游他们感觉到的是否安全，他们对于旅游觉得旅游安不安全，这也是一个因素。
Industry experts, these are people who know things about the industry, expect that people will choose to avoid cities. So they're predicting that people won't go to cities in favor of more rural options. They will choose instead countryside options, such as camping or staying at country retreats.
我们看到他说 industry experts 就是产业的一些专家 expect 预期人们 will choose 人们会选择 to avoid cities 会避免到城市去，因为那里人群聚集嘛。那 in favor of 就是这个选择看重另外一个东西，所以他们会 avoid cities 他们会避免到城市去，而选择而看重 more rural options 比较乡下的一些选项。Such as 例如呢 camping 他们可能会去露营，或者是 staying at 或者是他们会住在 country retreats 就是乡下的一些 retreats 是一些很僻静的地方，很隐蔽的地方，所以他们可能会选择去乡下比较人少一点的地方。
They also think, they are these industry experts, they think people will avoid traveling in groups. Now, group travel is extremely popular, especially here in Asia, because a lot of people can't speak European languages. And so there's safety in number. That's one thing. It's cheaper. There's another good reason.
It's more convenient. You don't have to think. You can just enjoy.
Yeah. That's what your travel guide is for, travel agent. So whenever, where possible means whenever they can. Whenever it's possible, they will avoid traveling in large groups.
While travel will undoubtedly pick back up, and by pick back up we mean rise in numbers.
Recover.
It is anyone's guess whether it will restart slowly or rapidly rebound.
好，所以 while 说虽然呢 travel will undoubtedly 毫无疑问的旅游一定会 pick back up 就是这个再重新回来它会重新回升。那下面这个用法大家可以注意一下 It is anyone's guess 就是谁也说不准，谁都可以猜，那不管谁说的都是猜测，所以 It is anyone's guess 谁也说不准 whether 它会不会restart slowly 它是不是慢慢的重新开始，还是说它会 rapidly rebound 就是弹回，通常是你 hit a hard surface 之后弹回来的 bounce back， 所以不知道它是很快的弹回来还是慢慢的回升。
So we have 3 questions here for you about the article, and number 1 is, according to the passage, what is a problem the tourist industry has faced during the pandemic?
根据本文，旅游业在疫情大流行期间面临了什么问题呢？
The answer is A, many airlines stopped flying.
答案是 A， 许多航空公司停飞。
Question number 2. Which of the following is closest in meaning to the word hampered in the second paragraph?
底下哪一个意思跟第二段里面的 hampered 这个字最接近？
The answer is B, blocked.
答案是 B， 阻碍。
And number 3, what is not a prediction about post-pandemic travel?
底下哪一个不是关于后疫情时代旅游的预测呢？
The answer is D, cities will be overwhelmed by international tourists. This is very unlikely.
答案是 D， 各城市将被国际游客挤爆，因为他说大家可能会避免去大都市。
Well, that's it for today's lesson. We hope you learned and enjoyed some English with us. Join us anytime. We love it when we can talk to you. Till the next time.
Bye-bye.